This is episode 133 of the Double Cross Anime podcast. I'm Whooper, and here's Mario.
I'm Mario. Hello, everyone.
So, the spring season is over. Summer comes after that. So, it is time for our first impressions of the summer 2021 anime season. It's been a bit of a saga trying to select which 10 shows we're going to do because originally we had Peach Boy Riverside down as one of them, and that just ended up being so bad that it's not even worth commenting on. And we were going to do Ore Tsushima, but that ended up being like a 90-second short rather than a full-length TV series. And I wanted to do Heion Serai no Iraten Tachi, but that doesn't air for like another week or 2 weeks or something.
Yep.
So we eventually settled on these 10 shows that we're going to talk about in a second.
That's right. There is still some show that haven't been airing as the time of speaking, but this show like the second season of My Year Record, the spin-off of Love Life, aren't really my jam, our interest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one episode of a Love Live anime.
Oh, I'm following it, so yeah, but not the spin-off. There are too many spin-off right now.
There's too much anime right now.
Yep.
We got 10 of them here. We're going to run through them alphabetically as we typically do. Each of us will rank them with 1 being the best and 10 being the least. So we're not rating them or grading them, rather we're just ordering them. And 1 is the one we like the most. Though in a season like this, I don't know how much of an honor that really is.
Well, let's do it then.
Okay. You like to read us through like alphabetically, right? So you can go ahead and announce which one is first.
All right. The first one is the one that just been airing like a few hours ago, and that's Design Traumerei, the animation. I think it's the play upward from Design and Trauma.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Although I don't really understand. I get the trauma part because the main character's brother died. We see that flashback.
Yep.
But I don't really get the decide part.
Yep. I have no idea what this part mean.
In fact, I have no idea what's going on at all in this show.
All right. So first things first, it's a Senji Gen Studios. So it all like 3D CGs. How you feel about the production?
I mean, I think that it is watchable. Watchable is how I would describe it. That's about it.
Right.
I don't want to look at it ever again. But
I was about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say that it's a compliment from you to say something that from 3D CG that is watchable.
Yeah. Well,
But
there's
then-
more than one 3D CG show in this group of 10 that we're gonna be talking about. So can't come down on it too hard when it's becoming more and more prevalent in anime altogether.
I would
guess.
reckon that the story of this show you don't care about, right?
No, I can't imagine that anyone does, because in order to care about the story, they would have to comprehend it. And all that goes on in this episode is we learn that the main character's brother died. He talks with some friends who go to his high school. And then he has a dream where he's got like super jumping powers. Then he fights some monsters with super jumping and punching powers.
There's a scene where he got rescued by some girl, and that girl tell him that this is the reality, it's not a dream, and that kind of remind me back to the Matrix of the whole thing.
You're comparing Decide Traumerei to The Matrix.
That one scene, that one flash,
Okay.
that remind me a bit of the Matrix, but like apart from that, it's just we following this guy, and he not that interesting to begin with.
He has a cool
already-
triangle earring.
Right. The design is mixed bag for me. I think I like some of the girls. I like how the visual look
I like some of the girls.
designs.
Yeah, Man,
compared to other shows. That's
you're
one
really
show.
you're really fishing.
What?
You're like looking hard for how you can compliment this thing.
No, no. Yeah, compared to one other show that we're gonna talk about that have the character design that I'm just rolling my eyes.
Yeah, I think you and I are gonna have some pretty different opinions about this season. Just gonna throw that
Yeah.
out there.
Hope,
I mean, I know what you're
hopefully,
talking about. I
yep.
think with regards to this series, like the designs of the girls, they're like, I don't know, they're very cute. I guess it to
Yep.
me it just seems like someone worked way too hard to make them look cute.
Yep. Yep.
Like they're like they themselves, the characters spend an hour and a half every morning, like making sure that the adjustment of their neckline is like perfect, and they have the correct top underneath to enhance all of their feminine attributes, and the color coordination between all the parts of their outfit is just like on point. I just like I don't care. That doesn't make me want to keep watching.
Yep. And yeah, like we said, like we for pretty much follow the main characters who not interesting to begin with, who had like a little bit of flashback, who has superpower that he didn't even know that he will eventually learn. So like after he learned that he had the superpower, he already like in the ready combat mode.
Yeah, well, he's a boxer. You see him doing some
Yep,
sparring.
kickboxer.
Yeah, kickboxing. That's right, because they have on the shin guards.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. And he
I
was probably motivated to take up that sport after his brother's death. Maybe it
Yep.
was his brother who got him into it, or he just wanted to become, like more capable and more self-sufficient because his role model wasn't around anymore. It's kind of an interesting thing for his character.
Yep. I actually think that's a bit of information about the premiere that I like. That we see the one scene that he go into the kickboxing club and he practice, and that apply for like when he have the super abilities is like hit glove that he receive,
Right.
the golden glove.
Yeah, but as for the fighting, as for the superpowers themselves and the monsters and all the fighting, it just seems like the show exists as a showcase for all of that. I don't feel as though it's really going to go anywhere. That it did
I
go
ag-
anywhere in this first episode, or that it will go anywhere interesting with regards to the characters. Like
Mhm.
it's just going to be fighting and flashy graphics, and
Yeah,
does this show have anything like substantive to offer? I don't,
I agree.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't think so.
I agree on that because the whole thing that I watch, I just feel like a video game, not like an anime shows.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's worse is I think that's probably intentional.
Yep. Hmm. All right. So, is there any other notes that you want to talk about this show?
Uh, I think it's hilarious that they're called the people who transform and get those abilities and stuff and fight these. What are they called? Weirds? Is that the name of those weird hand things? I think they were called weirds.
Yeah, there will go something that I can't recall at
Yeah,
the
and
moment.
the people who fight them are called knocker ups.
Oh, that's just him. That's just him actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he when he do that, he said like knock off and like the people around just laugh at him.
Well, they
The
laughed at him because he announced it like it was part of a transformation sequence.
Yep.
But knocker up is like the name for the title of the people who fight against the weirds. They're all called knocker ups.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And I
All
think
right.
that's just so funny because it sounds like a phrase meaning like to impregnate someone.
Yep.
So
Knock off.
that's great, and I wonder if that's gonna like factor into it somehow. I mean, the little zippers on the hands open up kind of like vaginas, you know. So it's just
I don't.
the symbolism is just off the charts right now.
All right. I don't think that intentional.
Yeah,
I need to,
this isn't Ikuhara.
but it's interesting,
I guess.
right? So I rank it 8 out of 10.
So did I.
I do think that we might agree on this show more than we wanted to.
I mean, it's bad.
No. I mean like the whole season. Sorry.
Oh
Like
no,
the
I
whole
don't. I mean,
ranking.
we'll
Let's say.
we're about to find out about some differences. I think pretty soon.
Yep. All right. The next one gonna be Kageki Shoujo Opera Girl, as in the English title.
Okay, I just wrote down Kageki Shoujo for the title. Which doesn't it just mean like stage girl?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's
That's
what it's
right.
about. Girls who go to a
That
school to learn how to be stage performers.
that exactly it is about. Yeah, we got introduced to the whole bunch of girls like for that year who entered that year, and yeah. So far we just see. What do you think about the show first?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would say that it's very generous of you to say we got introduced to a whole bunch of girls. We got introduced
Right.
to like 2 girls, and everyone else just had a few like
Appearance.
catchphrases thrown
Yep.
in there.
Right.
There are other
Right.
girls here. These girls are also here. Is
Mm-hmm.
the what I came away with.
Yep. 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 You were right. You were right.
Yeah, I don't.
And
So I don't particularly care about any of the other characters, and even the 2 main girls. I'm just not really that interested. You know, you got the dynamic where one of them is Genki and the other one is like Kudere or whatever the dere is, where someone's like really reserved and kind of spiteful and just like quiet. And it
I
just
think
seems like I've seen and experienced this all before.
yep. It does feel like generic. It does feel like that's something that we have seen before. I agree. Um. Also, like the act style really remind you of like a shoujo shows.
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't say it's like classic shoujo
Mm-hmm.
or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. The designs are pretty modern, but the girls are tall, you know, especially the blonde one.
Mm-hmm.
The point of whose character is I am tall. And they you know, they have very feminine features, and there's a cherry blossom tree where the 2 main characters like meet for the first time. I don't know. I really
Yeah.
don't have that much to say about this show, to be honest.
I'm like based from one source that I'm reading, like the one of the main girls, Narata Ai, the one who reserved, she have a break from idols
Yeah.
industry. I think someone mentioned that it's based from a real idols Akiba for 48, I think, and I have no idea if it's true or not.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there are probably plenty of idols who get burned out of that industry. It's supposed to be pretty, you know,
Yep.
miserable and exploitative.
Uh,
So, I
yep.
mean,
Yep.
that's kind of an interesting story. You know, you could follow somebody who used to work, we used to be in a line of entertainment that didn't really work for them. I mean,
Mm.
the thing that I respect most about any of the characters in this show is that she like told a male fan that he was like a fucking pig, and that's how she got fired. That's pretty cool. But
Mm-hmm.
the primary way that the show decides to display that attitude is with the scene near the beginning of the episode where she's
Yep.
like paranoid and is like running away from a guy who just recognizes her on the train, and then another
Yep.
guy at the station who like taps her on the shoulder and says, "I'm your biggest fan." Obviously not the kind of interaction you want to have with someone in a public place, not the kind of behavior you want to be like on the receiving end of. But still,
Yep.
she's the way she acts about it is very kind of haughty, like and paranoid and fearful. It's just this weird mix of like condescension and also like a phobia.
Yep. I do think that what is supposed to be she afraid of men.
Yeah, she
So
wants to go to this school because it's all women and there's not the stench of men around. Another big trope.
yep. 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 I do think that this is the story where all of its like stuff are very familiar. We have seen them before, but I still do think that it led a good groundwork for me to wanting to like find out what will going on
Hmm.
in the future.
Gotcha.
So I like the characters, like how they interact to each others, and even like the supporting characters. Just think of it. I just think of it as a lesser review starlight without all the dude.
No. This show and Review Starlight are from different planets. They're from
Yeah.
different dimensions.
They singing, they performing. Wow,
This show was
Uh,
entirely straightforward.
yep, that's I agree.
Review Starlight was not straightforward in the least.
That's I agree. Yes.
I feel like they're totally different. Like their shared setting, if you could even
Yep.
call it that, because all of the review performances in Review Starlight took place in a basement that was also probably another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Kageki Shoujo,
And
every time you see the girls on stage, it's a stage at the school where they attend, like very normal human girls.
and I'm pretty sure that this one they don't have the giraffe.
Yeah, there's
Talking giraffe.
probably not a talking giraffe who says, what was his catchphrase in Review Starlight? Wakarimasu. That's what it was.
He's cool, man.
Yeah. I would love it if this show, Kageki Shoujo, if you replaced all the girls with giraffes. That would be great. Then I would be into it. But as it stands,
Well, you
not really.
you will accuse this as like another beast for sure.
No, not at all. If all the animals are the same, then it's less fetishistic.
Right. All right.
If they're all giraffes, then it's just about like, giraffe society,
Mm-hmm.
educating people about the wonders of giraffes and their dancing abilities.
All right. I rank it fourth.
All right, 9 for me.
Wow. Right. You even put it behind beside Traumerei.
No, not behind, above. Or I'm sorry, you're right,
Above.
behind. Behind.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. I got mixed up.
All right. The next one gonna be our favorite, like everyone favorite, Kobayashi-san Chino Met Dragon 2
Or S.
S.
I love that this sequel has an S at the end because it kind of brings back the old anime habit of denominating or denumerating. I don't know what the word is, but like calling sequels, indicating that they're sequels using a letter of the Roman alphabet, like S. Or Sailor
Yep.
Moon did that, and Dragon Ball did that, and a whole bunch of anime had done it in the
I
past.
think S is stand for two, right? Sand. Is it mean two, or I have no idea why they call it S.
San in Japanese is actually 3.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
I don't know why it's S. Maybe S for sequel. Maybe S for. I have no idea.
Yep.
Hamefura this season also is not Hamefura 2. It's Hamefura X. If you look at the title.
Interesting.
So I don't know what this new wave is of letters instead of numbers, but I'm all
Yep.
for it.
Yep. It's our first show seeing the studio itself airing something after the accident.
Yeah, not an accident.
Yeah, well,
It was
Yep.
since the arson.
Yep.
Their first televised production, unless you count the series of shorts, the Maid Dragon shorts that were airing last season, which I enjoyed.
I haven't watched anything from it.
Oh, they're like 2 minutes long. They're cute. You can just
Yep.
watch them all in like 30 minutes, or watch one and be done.
hmm So
Uh,
basically, this first episode introduce our characters again, and one new character's named Ilulu.
yeah, yeah. Is
Ilulu.
that she's quite a character.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't really. I think I probably blocked out a lot of the more fetishistic elements of Kobayashi-san when I
Wow.
watched it back
Yes.
in 2017. I mean, I
Yep.
remember like Lukoa had some big old titties,
Yep.
but I don't remember anything quite as extreme as Iruru from this episode, who
Oh
is
my
like
God.
super short and has the biggest breasts of any character in the series, and
I
who
think I
also
can.
puts a spell on Kobayashi so that she grows a penis. I think is what we're
Yep.
meant to infer from the final scene.
Yep. 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 I think that's what she did as well. Yeah. I think this episode kind of remind me why I'm not really into this show very much because of the buff fetish, and I can see the reason why they do that because they are all dragons in the human forms.
Is that how?
So
What's the link there? I don't really get that.
because like all the dragon girls here had the big boobs.
Yeah, but
So,
why? You said you can see the link. I don't understand why dragons would necessarily have big boobs in human
because
form.
they're not human being to begin with. So their booth can be like out of ordinary. They redefine like the human shape. That's
I guess so.
well, that's the best way I can put it because otherwise I can just get I just think that this is the outer fetish to draw the girls this way.
Oh, I mean that's undoubtedly the case. What is the author of this manga's name? It's like Cool something.
Yep, yep, yep.
I'm looking it up right now. It's a
Cool
Cool
Kyo Shinja.
Yes, Cool Kyo Shinja. Um,
Yes.
yeah, the
Um.
the size of the breasts in the show and the fact that she puts a spell on Kobayashi so that she'll grow a dick and stuff. It's very weird, you know. Um,
Yeah.
could I do without it? Yeah. Could I do without all of the the peeing in Maid in Abyss? Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes that is just a thing that happens in anime, and most of the time I'll
And
be like, well, just throw this show on the trash pile. But if there's something else, a lot of some things else that are redeeming about
yep.
it, then I'll just keep watching. And I think
Yep.
Kobayashi-san has a lot of other things going for it.
I do agree, but like uh based on the fetish, like I can feel the like the basic idea of the shows is that it really self-serving as well. We had like a protagonist who have like a dragon girls who is cute, who is bit buff, who wanted to be her mate for life,
Yeah.
who all totally like devoted to her. Like the whole concept is really like self-serving to begin with.
Yeah, but I also think that in the course of the show going on, like the first season in 2017, there was a nice story that was told over that span of episodes about like how you can find and choose your own family.
Yep.
All the dragons got their own little stories about how they came to be part of Kobayashi and Toru's little circle of
Mhm.
acquaintances, and how it that acquaintanceship and getting to know those other people, forming those friendships, like made their lives better. I think that's a story that a lot of anime try to tell, and this one was particularly successful, I thought.
Yep. Even in this episode, we can see some of that. Like a deeper, more intimate side of the show when Ilulu talking to Kobayashi, for example, on the train before she doing that weird, cast
Yeah, you
of.
get a bit of a moral of the story sort of exchange between
Yep.
Kobayashi and Iruru. And her character is built like she's part of the Chaos faction, so she hates humans, etc., etc. But then Kobayashi is able to what does she do? She convinces what's her face, that purple hair dragon, to set up that barrier, and so that makes her curious about humans. So obviously
Elma.
Elma, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I think Elma is actually my favorite character. I like her a lot. But that curiosity that Iriru has for Kobayashi is obviously going to be the driving force behind how they integrate her character thematically. You know, she's curious about this person and whatever attributes or whatever wisdom she has that allow her to get along with so many people, because she understands their perspectives and she accepts them for who they are. I think there's a lot of messages in the show like that that are pretty positive, and I enjoy watching, especially when they're accompanied by such nice animation, you know.
Yep.
But I will say that this episode was very frantic and like fast-paced, little hard to follow. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it was... I wish it had slowed down a little, and I wish it hadn't been quite so, you know, gross.
Yep. Busy? God, gross. Right. How you think of the productions?
It looks great.
Yep.
It looks amazing, dude.
The animation, it looked amazing for me as well.
Incredible. And some different effects work as compared to the first season. Like some of the beam and particle effects, because, you know, they're dragons shooting weird satanic energy at each other. And it looks a little different. There's like some sort of paint on glass looking stuff like that surrounds the little balls that they right before they unleash them. Now obviously it's not paint on glass. I actually read a news story recently about how like the last living really prodigious paint on glass animator in Japan has died just recently.
Oh, wow.
Like the last master of the art form just passed away.
Jeez.
But there was some stuff that looked a little like that, you know, like a little bit of mixed media in there that kind of gave some color and some character to the combat that happened midway through the episode. And I like the little plot at the start with her going out and getting that job.
I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yep. So she wanted to, you know, like become a ultimate very best maid. So I would expect that she would fail, you know, like miserably, but it turned out that she become very successful in cooking, in become a chef. So that BS story is actually very very funny to me.
Yeah, it's a cute story.
Yeah,
and it hijacks Toru's like high energy personality. It makes use of that pretty well.
Yep. I also like the new character Ilulu, except for her booth. I actually, you know, like every single dragon's female characters had a big booth for some reason. I actually just explained you that.
Yeah.
but yeah, it
seems you you know, you might have a little fixation going on there. I mean, who could blame you? They're like swinging around and little sound effects are accompanying them whenever they're on screen. So obviously the show wants you to pay attention to them.
It just bugged me a lot, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't bother me that much, just because I think the rest of the show is pretty good. But we'll see. I mean, this is certainly the most, you know, this episode of the show kind of took me aback, I should say. Kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
With just how fixated it was on that stuff.
Yep.
So we'll see. You know, I imagine that her Kobayashi-san's new, you know, appendage is probably going to be removed in the next episode, and then we'll just go on with things as normal. But we're still going to have to deal with the fact that there's like a little short, lowly character with big tits.
Right.
You know, and that's. I just hope the season is good so I can just get past that eventually.
And it's still, you need to remember that subplot about Lukua and the boy.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me too much. I just like accept that for part. It's part of the show.
All right.
Whatever. She's like swinging her butt around while he plays the recorder. I don't care. It was just over and done with pretty fast.
I actually think that the that particular shot was really well directed.
I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah.
All right, I put it 6.
All right, number 3 for me.
Number 3. The next one gonna be another sequels, and this one is more of my favorite than yours. The Otome games or Hamefura
Yeah.
X.
Yes. Hamefura X. All right. So the first part of this was a recap, which I needed because I didn't actually finish the first season.
Oh, right.
So I figured, I learned. I watched 7 episodes because we did a big
Yep.
Hamefura podcast episode where we talked about it for nearly an hour.
And then you just said like no more of Hamefura, please.
Yeah. Yeah, but it looks like you made me a liar because I did watch this episode.
All right. I don't think that if you already didn't like Hamefura this episode, I don't think that it will convince you to think that it's good.
Oh, not at all.
Right. I was right on the money then. For once, I think I already put my bit on this or in the blog, but like this one where like all the main stories is gone. Let's see, like avoid her death flag. It's become like it for me it's pretty plotless.
Oh,
in this
it most certainly is plotless. Yeah. It's all about just
Yeah.
reintroducing the characters, just sticking them on screen and being like, there's a cultural festival coming up soon. Well, I guess we, better prepare for that while having little cute, flirty moments.
Yep.
Look, it's
With
more
all
of the
the characters.
show.
Yep. And so I have like 2 main complaint on this episode is that first is because they have like no real urgency at all. So Katarina just just going around like meeting friends and like everyone affection to her without her knowing it. And second is like all the characters kind of acting the same because they have like the same like feelings toward Katarina. So it's kind of hard to like separate them. They feel like all one big like fan club.
That's been the
Members
show's problem since like
together.
episode 4 of season 1.
Yep. So hopefully it's get better, but like because I'm as a fan because I just love Katarina, so I don't mind following her around. And so I still enjoy my time here.
Yeah. Well, that's
But-
good because
yeah.
you're stuck here. She's still in a video game, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're stuck. And apparently there was some, like her friend, because I was still learning things based on the recap that I didn't already know. And I might not have known this already, having seen only half of the first season. But apparently her friend, like, did something. She, like, played the game or something somehow in order to help Katarina in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how it worked?
Did you watch that episode?
No, I saw
Sorry.
7. I only saw 7 episodes. I did remember learning about her friend, and something happened to her friend or something. Like she got hit by a car, or what was
Yeah.
that?
So yeah, I think her friends for some reason died as well, but she still remember like her past life. As the Katarina actually, but she actually recognized Katarina as her friend. In the previous life, and Katarina didn't know that.
Oh wait, her friend was reincarnated as one of the characters in the game, right? Like the silver-haired
yep.
girl or something like
The
that.
silver-haired girl. Yep.
Was
yep,
it? Okay, yeah. I do. I was right around the point where that story was becoming, like more central in the first season when I stopped watching. So I do.
When
I guess
you
I do
say
remember that.
when you say more central, it's just like 10 minutes. It's just like the first half of an episode.
I think
and
I
then
remember
it
something
just,
about that. Yeah.
It just go back to normal.
Well, there was a plot where they were like in a temple or something, and then there was a wind power that one of the characters had, and that was
Yep.
somehow linked to her friend or something.
We didn't know about that though. Like someone saved her.
Yeah, someone saves her with a wind power because she's about to fall to her death, and that ends up. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I vaguely remember this show is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
I definitely remember how screeching and piercing and rage-inducing Katarina's voice is.
Oh, really?
Whenever she like the scene early on when she was eating cakes,
Yep.
there were like two guys fighting over her. Of course there were, and she was eating cakes and she said "Oishi," because she just loved how delicious the cakes were. It made me like I wish I had a pillow nearby because I just really wanted to like it made me feel like violent. I wanted to hit something. It was terrible.
Oh, come on.
The dialogue. Katarina, you're such a hard worker. You're so kind. You care so much about others. You got to stop doing all that and remember to care for yourself as well. Like, even when people are criticizing her, they're just telling her what a gem of a human being she is. And, like, she has to react shamefully. Like, okay, well, I guess I was making a mistake when I did that. But you're right. I should look out for myself a little more. Like... I just feel I'm more offended, to be completely honest. I'm more offended by this show than I am by Big Tits McGee in Kobayashi-san. Like, the writing in Hamefura is offensive to me.
I can't blame you. I don't blame you.
I hate it.
If you, I think like the very main appeal of this show is Katarina. So if you don't like Katarina and if you feel like all the other things are manipulated to a point, like, so there's nothing for you to watch here.
Yeah, there really isn't.
All right, so you put that 10, I suppose.
I did.
All right, I put that 5.
All right. I'm surprised that it's all the way down to number 5.
It's not surprise for me at all. It's a solid episode for me.
A solid episode.
That's way out different, man. The next one gonna be a original sports show from Mappa.
Mm-hmm.
Remain.
Yes.
Is it after the premiere? It still remains a good episode for you, Whooper?
I actually enjoyed this. Yes.
All right.
I did. It gave me mid-2000s sports anime vibes.
Right.
Where things would just move very slowly, and the character, there's like a little bit of a focus on humor, and
a little bit.
Yeah, I think is there a large focus on humor? I don't remember it being like that funny. The brother and the sister are like part of a manzai comedy duo, at least according to their parents. So that's supposed to be humorous, but there's also it's also kind of tragic because at the same time he wakes up in the middle of the night and hears his sister crying and sees his parents comforting her, and he I'm sure that he feels kind of ashamed by that because he feels responsible for the fact that she feels that way. So he just backs, he sees that and he just backs up. Rather than
actually, he didn't do anything in the accident, right? It's her mom who caused the crash.
It is, but I'm sure that people assign blame. They put blame on themselves for things that they're not responsible for all the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that he feels responsible. Mm-hmm. He's not responsible in the least, but because he was gone for so long, I'm sure he does not feel good about the fact that she's had a nightmare and is crying inconsolably in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard stuff.
I think I have the issue with this show the same as I have the issue with Colorful. I think you have watched that movie, right?
Yeah, but I hardly remember what Colorful was about. I remember not liking it.
All right. Colorful is about a guy who a soul who reincarnate as as a high school boy because his previous self had committed suicide. So
right.
God just give him a second chance to live in this body to see if he still enjoy life at all. So like the first half of it is about him, like having no memory of this life at all and try to like carry on normal life, while at the same time like he's in the cell thinking something different, like have a very not negative but have a very uh different outlook to the person image.
I mean,
I
I think negative probably fits. I remember Colorful being like a very mopey, very sad, kind of
Yeah, so
self-pitying sort of film.
I feel the same thing with this one. Like he have no memory, so he have no recall for his life for the past 3 years, I think.
That's the
So
link that dude. Colorful is
yeah,
like a sad, boring film, and the guy in Remain, the main character, is like he's happy.
well, it's still like he have to like retrace the life that he did, and he have no memory about it. It feels like it just feel really uh untactful to me.
Hmm. I guess I don't really get that. I mean, he lost 3 years worth of memories. So what should he have done rather than what he did in this episode? What should he have done instead?
Maybe try not to carry on with his life like normal, because he has lost 3 years of his life.
Right. So should he have not studied in order to get into a good high
High
school?
school. Like the thing is like because he asleep for 3 years. He
No, he was asleep
uh
for 6 months.
oh sorry, he said this is 6 months, but he lost the memory for 3 years.
Yes.
All right, all right. I try to figuring out all that. So he just missing 1 year. Is that how that work?
6 months. He was asleep for 6 months.
Right, right. But he had lost the memory for 3 years. So
Yes.
does that mean that like all the thing that he studied for 3 years he lost as well?
Yeah. That's why he
Right.
was like when he's going back through the books to see what he remembers.
Yep.
He thinks to himself, even the stuff that I thought I knew, I don't know.
Right.
He like lost memories of like
Yep.
academic related stuff,
All right.
which is
I know the friends
strange.
that he make. Yep.
Yeah, so he
All
has to
right.
study hard. Although that's kind of reduced to a montage where he's like going back and forth between studying and physical therapy and manga.
I really hope that like they extend a bit more, because like the recovery part is actually pretty interesting.
I mean, physical therapy rehabilitation is grueling.
It is,
Yeah, so I
and
mean, if you were to
they
extend that, it would be like its own anime about a man who was in a car wreck, like trying to get his life back. I don't think that's what Remain is about.
yep. It's a water polo show.
Yeah, I appreciated
All
that there
right.
was no water polo in the first episode, though. I mean, because it demonstrates that the show's committed to, at least a little bit, to the main character getting back to speed. Can you imagine if there was water polo in this first episode? Like,
I don't.
what would
Yep.
even be the point of the car crash at all if he were just to jump back in the pool and start
I
swimming?
I I do think if there is a bit of a water polo, that would be before, like that would be a very first scene that we see, like before he having a crash, like he
Ah,
participating with like the all three, like having like the best moment of his life, which he never forget.
right. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Um,
that probably would have been cool if that had been like the first scene. Because in this version of the show, the first scene is like there's
he
a
wakes up.
yeah, well, there's a ball floating in the water, and it's like it's kind of dimmed at the edges, like someone is dreaming or seeing something, and you hear his voice, and then he wakes up, and his sister's there at the
Right.
hospital.
Yep. Um, I was about. Oh yeah, the significance of the title. Actually, they explain it in the episode as well. well done as well. And I remember you told me about like if where the water polo have an upside,
Right. Yeah.
and that kind of explained to us as well. So I think that was really informative.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting rule. So you can't receive a pass when you're within 2 meters of the goal. So it doesn't have to do with the
Yep.
position of your opponents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it just
Yep.
has to do with distance, which is a much clearer rule.
Yep.
Um,
I agree on that.
so that'll be, I mean, I guess learning about the rules of water polo will be something of a priority going forward. Since I mean, one of the
Yeah,
characters in this show even points out that it's a minor sport. Like the guy, Joe
Yep.
Jimajo,
Yeah.
the captain of the water polo team, comes to the classroom, tries to recruit people, and of course he gets laughed at because who cares about water polo?
Yep. Which is good for us because now the main character he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know about the rule of water polo. So it's a good chance that we, to learn the sport along with him as well.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I mean, this episode kind of seemed. It doesn't feel much like a modern sports anime to me, but it does feel like something from like a decade and a half ago. So I'm kind of expecting for there to be like a long. Well, actually, maybe not. It's still a 12-episode series.
Yep.
It might not take him so long to remember the sport. Maybe his memories will start to come back or something. Or maybe that'll be part of the like reacclimation process, is that he doesn't know the rules at all, and neither do we. And
Yep.
the show will just imply that he picks them up over time.
Yep. I think that's the way that that they will go.
But listen, who cares about any of that, dude? What about that hook at the end of the episode? The girl gives him a little smooch on the cheek. Apparently, she like knew him before and was his girlfriend or something.
Yep.
We don't know
I think
what's going on. Holy shit!
I think they were dating before he went to the hospital. End of story.
Yeah, what a lucky dog.
Yep.
You kidding me? Wake up from a coma and like a super hot girl is just
Come and
like,
kiss you.
yeah, she's just hanging around, waiting, for you to wake up from your coma, probably fending off advances from a bunch
Yeah.
of other guys for half of a year.
Yep. And you know what? It's supposedly that I think that their relationship is a secret, and now with him forgetting her at all, it's interesting to see how that will end up.
Yeah, I'm honestly like interested to know what happens in episode 2. This is
God.
another thing that kind of reminds me of like older sports anime. Is there's usually like a girl who's a motivating factor for the main character, like Hajime no Ippo. There's the girl who, in between matches, he'll like go on a little date with her, and then he'll be like, "I need to get even stronger for the sake of the people I love."
Yep.
Kind of has that feel, or the potential for something like that to crop up. I'm not opposed to that, because I really like the girl's design. She's cute as hell.
Girl design. We're talking a lot about girl design.
That's
today.
right. As soon as I said that, I was like, I remember D-side Traumerei.
I put it 9 out of 10. Unfortunately.
Number 2, baby.
Right.
I enjoyed
Interesting.
it quite a bit.
All right, we get more into the second half of the shows.
Yeah.
So
we
the
just
first
did 5,
one-
so we got 5 more. Yeah.
We did it 5, yep. So the next one is Shinigami Bocchan to Kuro Maid, the Duke of Death and his maid.
Yeah. And his maid is kind of weird because Kuro maid means black maid. So I
that's
guess they
right.
decided to leave that out. I don't know how you would incorporate that in a localization.
I think Black Maid would be much more meaningful.
Well, that makes it sound like African American maid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So when they translated that, I mean, given America's like sensitivity to that sort of thing, they would be like, nope, can't do that. Sorry.
Yep. or just say dark Maid.
Dark Maid. Yeah, that sounds kind of
Still,
edgy. But
yeah,
I mean,
still
regardless,
racist.
the show is kind of okay.
Yep, yep. What do you think about these episodes?
I think it was kind of okay.
Yep. I actually think that they integrated very well the full CG to this show compared to
Ew.
High School Girl.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Nope.
I did. What did you think of the backgrounds having like a canvas effect, like a texture? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I do notice that. I think it's done well. You know that it looks simple
Yeah.
to the point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's obviously artificial and computerized, but I think it's I think it's appropriate.
Yep,
And it yeah,
I do still the same as well.
I kind of like that. I didn't really like the CG though. I mean, boobs
Yep.
don't really work in CG. And that's half of what this show is about. Let's be honest with ourselves. This show is more about boobs than Kobayashi-san's Dragon Maid. Or at least I should probably qualify that and say they're roughly equal.
Yep.
This show is all like, why does he like this girl? I mean, cuz she's got some big mommy milkers. Let's be honest.
Knockers.
Yeah. Knocker ups.
Right.
Oh god, because that's obviously what he wants to do is knock her up, but he can't because if he did, she would die.
Yep.
That's the
What?
premise of the show.
Yeah. How you feel like the two tones, like the teasing part and like the more like sober sad story of them being alone. How you think how they mesh together?
They're okay. They're about
Right.
as good as they are in Remain. That some of the show is funny and some of the show is more serious. It's more of a 50-50 split in this show,
Yep.
and
Right.
I think that's fine. I mean, obviously he lives a very sad and lonely life, abandoned by his parents and living in a big old forest mansion with only two other people, one of whom is sidelined with a bad back right now. I mean, this maid is probably going to have a bad back herself. She's going to have to take some episodes on because she's carrying around them things.
Right, but she not at all compatible to the Dragon Maid.
What are we talking about here? I mean, I'd say she's pretty comparable, not to Irudu. God, this is a weird podcast episode, man.
I know. Well, because we have like two show about Maid with big boobs to compare to.
Yeah. This really is like an anime season where they're just giving the people what they want.
Yeah, kind of. Yes. Um. Yeah, I like the story. I like the story where like one of his childhood friend come to visit him, and he was expecting that a whole lot, just to turn out that like that guy is just come just by because of his mother order him to do, and second thing he want to like talk to Alice to tell her to leave the place.
Yeah.
So I kind of yeah like the idea behind that. Don't know how they gonna like expand that to the whole season, but I think they can manage that.
I mean, I think that it'll just be the story will become like trying to unravel the mystery of how he was cursed. They're going to try to lift the curse because as he and Alice get closer and closer together, he's going to want more and more to touch her, and she him as well. So then they'll be like, well, we gotta figure out why you were cursed, and we gotta figure out how to lift the curse. I would say that there's like a 100% chance that becomes the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really care that much to find out why he was cursed or anything. Like, I don't think I'm going to watch this again. I was trying to take it seriously at the start, but then, you know how there's the little whoop 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 kind of jello sound effects in Kobayashi-san's Dragon Maid whenever, you know, the swinging is happening. In this show, there was a literal like a squashing noise when she was putting on his tie before Philip came to visit, because her, you know, her bosom was right in his face, and there was like a noise.
Yep.
Right when that happened, I was like, okay, I can't take this seriously. Like that was just too much. Whoever on staff decided that was the sound effect, you lost me.
It's I think its purpose is to bring the to get to your attention. So it did a good job.
I feel like the
Alright.
show's just very simple, you know? Like
It is simple.
the maid is teasing him. All of these teasing shows, whatever.
We get a lot of that lately, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think any of them really have that much to offer beyond like their central premise. I don't think anything else is.
I kind of see like this one is the best out of it, out of like the show, the teasing shows, but it's a pretty low bar to begin with.
Yeah.
All right, I put that third.
All right, number 6 for
Number
me.
6. We got some differences
This,
here.
this show exceeding a low bar and reaching number 3 out of 10. Damn.
The next one gonna be Shiroi Suna no Aquatope. Aquatope, sorry. The Aquatope on White Sand.
It might actually be. I mean, is Aquatope a word? I probably should have looked that up. Let's see. Aquatope.
I have no idea. That's like the new word for me.
It looks like all the hits on Google, all the results on Google have to do with this show. So I cannot tell what an Aquatope is, if indeed it is anything at all.
All right.
So we can
So
pronounce it
let's
however we want.
All right. Aquatope.
Yeah, I think that works.
White Sand.
This show is notable for having perhaps the worst eye catch that I've ever seen in an anime.
Right. Going on with that.
Just the little, the little 2 or 3 second graphic that shows up between the first and the second halves, where like to bridge the commercial break.
I don't even recall that.
It was it was a white background and a purple
Yep.
square on the white background with some little white text in it that kind of like shifted to the left. No music,
Alright.
no animation, and it was just a white background with a purple square on it. It was I had to rewind and do a double take like to make sure that I had actually just seen what I had just seen. It was weird. It was like they let a 4-year-old make the eye catch in MS Paint, but not MS Paint as in the meme of wow, this looks like it was animated in MS Paint. It really looked like something in MS Paint.
Yep.
I have no idea what the deal with that was, but the rest of the episode was pretty good, I thought.
All right. I didn't even notice that. So so thanks for pointing that out to me. Um, as for the show itself, I feel it, like having the same DNA with
Irozuku.
Irozuku, yeah, with the postcard before Irozuku, and I remember that the first episode we did we put that show at first on both of our lists.
Yes, we did. Did we do the same this
Yep.
time? I don't know.
Let's
We'll
find
find
out.
We'll find out
Yep.
in a bit.
So I think that this episode has some really good elements. Um, this is a contract between the girls, and I actually like the fact that it isn't as magical realism as I had expected based on from the trailers. Because at first I thought like one of the girls is like is a mermaid or something that Yeah, but
Nope.
it turned out it doesn't turn out to be the case.
She just has a vision at the aquarium.
Yeah, she just have the vision. So I actually like this one more.
What do you mean? More than
What do you
what?
think? More than
Irizuku?
the actual mermaid or something that live in the aquarium.
Oh,
AKA children of the sea.
okay. Wait, Children of the Sea wasn't about a mermaid?
Not a mermaid, but a living things that live in the aquariums that not human.
Right. They have the appearance of humans.
Yep.
Yeah, Children of the Sea was weird. This was quite straightforward by comparison,
Mm-hmm,
which is
mm-hmm.
fine. You know, I mean,
Yep.
mostly what I appreciated it for was the scenery of Okinawa and the
Mm-hmm.
story of the former idol. Speaking of former idols that we talked about in Kageki Shoujo, I mean, this one's way
Yep.
more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She isn't just like, I don't know, a man hater and wants to go to this school because it has only girls. She worked hard and lost her spot on the with her agency, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so she didn't want to come home because she was, she couldn't handle seeing everyone at whatever welcome party was planned for her. She was probably ashamed or just like exhausted. So she flew to the other side of
Yeah,
Japan. She was getting
I
away.
do
You know,
think it's
it's you can really relate to someone who feels that way.
that's right. I think it's a total whiplash as well for her because she actually pretty sad to see that something she put a lot of effort to have been wasted. And like she heard the news that when she come home, that's gonna be a celebration, for her homecoming. That like everyone have been telling her that she should quit beforehand.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally understandable that she doesn't want to go back home. But she take it into the extreme that like she actually just go to uh one other city. I think like in the other direction, just on a whim.
Yeah. I mean, she seems like a bit of a flighty person because she also is taken in by a fortune teller. So there's
Yep.
a little bit of characterization happening there. Even
I
though she's kind of a serious person, at least in terms of how she is like, I don't know, how she's animated and
Yep.
her tone of voice being a little bit lower and not as chirpy and like ear piercing,
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciate.
All right.
I you know whenever a girl like a female character in anime opens their mouth and like it's below a certain decibel threshold and it's below a certain like pitch on the piano, I'm like, thank anime god, that I don't have to
Are
listen to
you
squealing in this show.
are you dissing Katarina at the
Oh,
moment?
of course, but not just her, the thousands of others
Yep.
like her.
Right.
um,
Right.
because that this seems like a real person. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching somebody who had it rough at work, who things didn't go their way, and they uh, they headed out on their own, you know, looking for a second chance, fresh start, just something new.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they found a place where they want to be because at the end of the episode, she's like, "Please let me work here."
Yep.
Uh,
I
Kind of
yeah.
weird
I.
that
Mhm.
she is so
Well,
quick to accept the position, but I guess she did have like a quasi spiritual experience in the aquarium.
yep. I actually regarding the sequence where she have a chat with the fortune teller to be the show best. Like my favorite moment is there. Because not only that you see like some of her personality showing in there, like you said, it's also going to the fortune teller as well. Because I think at first the fortune teller want to try her some money from her, and then as it turned out that like she when she get a chance to tell a man girl about her life story about why the husband left her or some that kind of stuff. She just like regard her as a friend
Yeah.
and give her like a very some very useful advice without like taking the money. I just love it.
Yeah, it's that I think that also speaks to what's her name's. I don't remember the main character's name at all.
Yeah.
Um, I think that also kind of
Fuka.
Fuka.
Yep.
Did we hear? We must have
No.
heard that name at some point in this episode, but I barely remember hearing it at all.
Her last name, her surname is Miyazawa.
Yeah, that either. We must have
Right.
heard it during the phone call. Like her mom must have
Mm.
called her by her first name.
Yep.
But anyway, even the fact that the fortune teller takes an opportunity to like kind of spill her life story
Hmm.
speaks to Fuka's character. I don't even know if that's what I'm supposed to call her, because she is like she's the sort of person who will listen, and she even like she listens to the girl who replaced her on the idol squad, like right before
Yep.
she leaves, because she like chases her out of the building or into the lobby, and she like puts on a nice face and hears her out and says, of course I'm not leaving because of you. Just, promise me you'll do your best. She's not like really a straightforward personality. And by that I mean
Hmm.
she's not going to be coming out and saying what she feels all the time. So
Yep.
someone like this fortune teller might sense an opportunity for her to like take over the conversation, kind of, because she
Hmm.
has here a person who's willing to listen. Listening is probably most of what she does
Yep.
conversationally, rather than doing a lot of talking about herself.
Yep.
So you do, and she's also the kind of person who, instead of getting a hotel, will like go down to the beach, set her suitcase on the sand, and like use it as
Slip.
not only a pillow but a bed.
Yep. Yep.
So she's a bit
I
of an
think
odd bird, but
Yep.
I don't mind that. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think she served as a very good foil to the other main characters that work. That I think the director of that aquarium, Kukuro, that was
Yeah, she says she's the
she introduced.
yeah. I guess she's taken over for her parents because her parents passed away.
Right. And that girl, she's yeah, she outgoing. So I think that would serve very well because like you said, the idol girl, she more of like reserved style. She doesn't really tell what she think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I do feel that they have some good moment right there, like at the end. How do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. Um, I was disappointed by the end of the episode just because I don't think that they really pulled off the necessary like visual shift for
Mm-hmm.
her vision of like the little tendrils of water sneaking out of the little tanks in the aquarium, and then the wave that kind of chases her down the hallway. I really didn't
Yep.
think that any of that looked great. I think the CG fish, that's fine,
Uh-huh.
but the as for the water itself, I was like, come on, man! I've seen Ride Your Wave, I've seen Children of the Sea, like this just is so far from that it's kind of distracting to me. Obviously, I shouldn't expect it to look just like that stuff, but I didn't feel as though the movement of the water in that scene approached any sort of naturalism.
Yep.
So in general, the end of the episode was my least favorite, but
Hmm.
I did think that the connection between the two girls is pretty well realized, because Kukuru is so she seems like the sort of person who would be able to initiate that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I love what we see so far, and there is like a trend creators. I don't think that she is a human. That we see flowing around without like any of the main character notice her.
The little short character with the long hair who
Yeah,
keeps eating.
who
Is she
and
eating shells or something?
yeah, I think so. And she take her hat as well.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of a fun little you know cameo, I
Yeah.
guess you would call it, like a recurring
Ha-
cameo throughout the episode. I don't know what the deal is going to be with that, but
yeah, I have no idea what her roles in the story. I don't think like she may be just a mascot.
who knows?
Yeah,
I
who
don't know.
knows?
It's got a cool design.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, so this as far as this first episode go, I think it's a totally lie for me. It just I still afraid that it gonna end up like Irozuku. Irozuku I think have like a very good first episode as well, and it's just go nowhere because there are like no real plot to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine this being exactly the same. To be honest,
Yeah,
I expect it.
yeah. That kind of sad because what we see so far is good. Like they have like many like small moment that's like speak to the characters, and I enjoy those.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's good.
So what you rank on that show? What you
Number 4.
rank? Who? Number 2 for me.
All right. Well,
All
both of our
right.
number 2 picks, number 3 picks, and number 4 picks are locked in. So
Oh,
I think we
really?
can safely assume that our next show is our joint favorite.
Uramichi Oniisan. All right. The next show gonna be Sonny Boy.
Aha. New show from
Like.
Shingo Natsume, inspired by Drifting Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty weird and wild episode.
Yep. That's right.
Feels kind of fragmented. I guess to underscore the sense that everyone is drifting through like an alternate dimension. Their sense of
Fragmented.
place in the world has kind of been deleted as a result.
Yep.
And
I love the way that you say fragmented because it's like literally what happened.
yeah, well, one character does have an ability to like, I don't know, like some sort of air manipulation, maybe, like vibrating
Yep.
the air really quickly in order to shatter the windows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty neat how that was represented visually.
Yep. How do you like the visual?
They're cool.
Yep.
They're
They
cool.
really strange.
Designs are nice.
Yep.
The animation style is pretty different. You know,
Yep.
it's more concerned with motion than it is with rigidity. Like
Mm-hmm.
more interested in moving than it is in being kind of standard looking
Pretty.
or adhering to
Yep.
model sheets.
I think it have like Yuasha is um
I don't know. I don't know if Yuasa is what I would compare it to, but I don't know what I would compare it to.
right.
I don't want to just compare it to Yuasa just because he's Mr. Quirky director man, you know. I just
No, it's more about like USA is also more attention to the animation than the design.
yeah,
So
that's
they
true.
have like really loose design.
I just wonder if there's a better point of comparison that I'm not aware of. Probably like somebody in the cinema world, somebody who doesn't really make TV anime might do stuff like this. I just don't know who it would be. But it's cool.
Yep. This is really like the story, the visual, the even like the concept behind it is weird. Like if they got estranged, they got separated by the rest of the world. And they just living in the high school setting right now. It's not that strange to begin with. We see a lot of fiction having that, but the way it's like go on in the first episode, I think like some of these are really interesting, and the design I love the design because they look like one character look very different from the other.
Yeah, for sure. I think the designs are probably my favorite part of the
Yep.
show so
Yep.
far. Although I did like the ending a lot.
The ending it just like completely like turn a new page.
Yeah. I mean, what is the deal? Do you think that we're going to be traveling? Like, is this a new dimension that we've come back to reality, right? And the school is sinking.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they come back to reality. They just open up the whole new alternative world. That's what I think.
I don't know. I think there's a link between where they were before and where they are now. Because do you remember the Indian-looking guy who was kind of
Yep. Yep.
like talking about his theories about what
Yep.
was exactly happening, like physically speaking, to the school?
Mhm.
He notices that part of like a little cross column pillar thing at the bottom of the school is like slowly disappearing. And he thinks to himself, wait, is the school sinking?
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out at the end of the episode, after Nozomi breaks through the illusion,
Mm-hmm.
the school really is sinking.
Yep.
So it's as though the world outside the school was merely invisible, and now she has made it visible as a result of her big jump.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I don't know if this is a separate dimension. I think the black, small
No,
around the school has just been cleared away.
By separate dimension, I think like the school itself and the new setting are separate from the real world. So somehow it gets transported, or like they step into another dimension while they are at school.
Okay. So looking beyond that, do you think that like we're gonna go through multiple dimensions throughout the course of the story?
No. I think it's just it's the show where they have to navigate at this new setting, and maybe there are some like battle between them in the style of what is the book about the children who
Lord of the
setting
Flies?
off killing. Yeah, Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies is a
in that
clear
style.
inspiration for this. Yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna jump back and forth between different worlds. I think they're gonna stick with this one.
I think there's a possibility that they will travel to different dimensions, because that seems to be Nozomi's ability. Like she can see. She has the power of sight somehow.
Yep.
There's like multiple close-ups on her eyes throughout this first episode.
Yep.
And she can see something in the distance, like a star or something, a guiding star, essentially. Like people can travel via the stars. They can follow a star in order to like orient themselves on the surface of the earth. She can do something similar, but it crosses dimensions, or at least it lets her see through what would you call the black space surrounding the school, like an illusion.
Yep.
She can see through that sort of thing. So I think there's a potential to use that power in order to jump from like place to place. I don't know how that power would come into play for her character, if not through that method. Like I don't know what else would be done with her. I do have a question. Like do you remember the scene where she's like admiring the merry-go-round in the gymnasium, right before the student council comes up to her and tries to get her to take the cell phone?
Yep.
How did did she summon that merry-go-round, or what is the deal with that merry-go-round?
I think it just placed there right in the middle of the school for some reason. Like no one really surprised by that.
But how did it get there?
Yeah, well, yeah, that kind of weird. We didn't know about that. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
There are some mysteries. Like also, how did they get that cell phone? That brand new cell phone that they tried to give to her.
No idea. I think it must be one of the new ability from one of the members that we don't know.
I
like
think
the
it
guy
is.
Hoshi, like his Hoshi is the really smart guy who wanted to impose new rules.
Yeah, he's the clear villain. Like when you see after Nozomi and the main character guy, whose name I forget, after they jump into the
Nagara.
sea, and she looks up, and Hoshi is like behind the chain link fence, like looking down on her. You can tell in that moment he's the villain. He's the boss. He's the end boss.
We don't even know that his true ability is, right.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Hunter x Hunter a little bit, like with some weird rule-based ability. Like he's able to create rules, and then if people violate them, he can make them do whatever he wants. That seems very Nen-like to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I assume that because he's trying to manipulate people, and his power fits into that desire, that'll be his role. In the rest of the story. This is just like 12 or 13 episodes probably? I don't think, is this too cool?
Properly. Yep. It 12 episode. That's what they say in here.
Okay.
Out of everything, all the show that we watch, I really this is the show that I afraid the most. I afraid that it's gonna be crushed down, and like sinking into the sea later on. Just because like it's still hard to grasp what the story gonna be about.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
true.
either really good or will be like a plane crash.
To be honest, I don't think I would mind very much if the show stayed like this. Like if it refused to
Mhm.
explain itself completely, and most of the episodes were like this. I think I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, well, that's something that I didn't like in this episode. Like the male characters,
Yeah.
the main characters, like he actually very passive.
Yeah. Because
Don't like that at all.
he's like just tired of being alive, basically. A lot of
Yeah.
his dialogue with Nozomi kind of revolves around that idea. And his dialogue with others too. Like when he talks to what's the guy's name? The guy who can shatter windows, Asakaze. When he talks to him, he's like,
Yep.
Asakaze is like, well, why are you just falling in line and following the rules? He says, because the rules are the rules, and that's just the way it is. Like whatever standards people decide to impose on him, he's just going to follow.
Hmm.
So I assume that the show is going to offer a critique of that mindset. That's the point of
Yep.
why his character is like that. And his parents, like his mom, doesn't care enough to sign whatever paper he's supposed to take home and have her sign. Probably his career form or something when he's having that meeting with his counselor,
Hmm.
his advisor. So he's
Yep.
something's probably gone on at home to make him turn out the way that he has. But
Huh.
I have to imagine that Nozomi is going to be the influence in his life that's going to cause him to start to take a more active role in his own fate.
All right. I just look at the list of characters. Have we seen a blonde girl in
Yes,
the
she's
first
the
episode?
electricity user. She speaks Chinese, I think.
All right, because her name is Shanghai.
Yeah, we hear her speaking Chinese in the episode.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, and
All
there's also
right.
the Indian guy. I think his name is Rachani.
Yep. Yep.
So there's a bit of a multicultural vibe here.
Yeah, love it.
Wonder what kind of high school it is that would have students like that, because
Yeah,
Japan
and
is like
it
very, very, very Japanese.
that's right. And even Nozomi, they mentioned that she came from America, I think.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Of
she was like
overseas.
an exchange student or something, or she had just gotten back from America, like
Yep.
she had gone abroad.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a
very
nonconformist.
interesting.
She's not taking the cell phone. She's not staying in Japan her whole life. She's jumping off of buildings.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really intriguing first episodes. Like, I might just wait for the whole thing coming out so I can watch everything at once.
Ah, okay.
I might, but I don't think I can repress my temptation to watch more of it.
Yeah, I was
Now
about to
that
say, like, I'm precisely the opposite. This is the only show that I think I would bother keeping up
Yep.
with every week. I
Yep.
probably wouldn't even do that. The only reason I would watch a bunch of episodes is just either for this podcast or for the state of the season post.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things that make me watch anime. At least current anime.
All right. So I would assume that you put it at first.
No, I put it 7th.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding. It's first.
Yep. Yep, I put it at first as well.
All right. Uramichi Oniisan, on the other hand, that I put 7th.
That I put it at last.
Oh,
Alright, we
wow.
can move on to the next one.
Yeah, we can just talk about it for like 1 minute, and then skip it, because we
Nah,
do
just
need to
kidding.
speed up a little bit.
Oh, is it? Like we only have 2 shows left.
Yeah, but you also have somewhere to be.
That's alright. So Uramichi Oniisan. I do think that it will work better because I haven't read the manga. I think that's supposed to be like 4 Kuma manga.
It's not. No,
It's not,
I read
alright.
the first few chapters,
Yep.
and the show is basically just the manga, but with voice acting and color.
Right. I think it will work better, much better if we read the manga instead of the animation, because I think like all the gags are supposed to have like a punchline. So like we read until like uh he's showing his true face, and it will make an impact then while reading it, instead of what we see in the in the show, where like every 2 or 3 minutes he like ship hit attitude, and it just feel like like there's no punchline at all, so it's not even feel funny or anything to me.
It feels too real to me. That's how I
It,
feel. I feel like Uramichi.
yep. Well,
'Cause I work with kids.
and do you feel that as well?
Yeah, all the time,
Right.
dude. Because you have to be so, you have to be positive. You have to
Yep.
use
Yep.
an
Yep.
encouraging tone of voice always.
Yep.
And sometimes if a kid, is getting on my nerves or makes a mistake,
Yep.
or needs to be corrected in some way, or whatever, whatever the situation is,
Yep.
I'll say to them, like, cheerfully, you're really
Yep.
trying my patience right now, but we're still gonna work on this together, and I hope that you do your best, because I'm gonna do my best. I'll sometimes I say stuff like that,
Right. Right.
but never sarcastically or mean
Yep.
spiritedly. I'll
Yep.
just say what
Yep.
I'm thinking, but
Yep. Yep.
still be friendly and still be positive and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So watching the show, I was like, this guy's just me. In fact, he and I are exactly the same age. So if
Yep.
anyone listening to
That's
this wants
right.
to know what age I am, you can watch Uramichi Oniisan, and it'll tell you. But the problem is, I feel as though there's just not enough here for like a 20-something minute anime
Mm-hmm.
every week.
Yep.
It's just,
Yep.
in
Yep.
fact, it should be over. This first episode is basically the show. There's no
Right.
need for anything
I
else.
agree. I think it will be work much better if it's a short. Like 10 minutes. I think should be alright. 20 minutes of like the same thing happening over again. Even if they expand the cast, I still have like a very same feeling towards like all the episodes.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all going to be like relatively the same. I don't see what they could possibly do except introduce new cast members.
Yeah.
And they probably can't do that because they already blew their budget on voice actors. There are some crazy A-list voice
Yeah.
actors in this series.
And so far they actually don't really stand out that much. I think I will watch some more episodes to see if they like make a best use out of their like really talented voice actors cast.
I mean, my train of thought when it comes to voice actors in anime is like, I don't like them.
All right.
I like when I watch like a Ghibli movie or something, and they use unknowns or actors who come from a cinematic background. I don't like anime voice acting. I don't like the squealing. I don't like the chirping. I don't like the guys who try to sound like super gruff or super mysterious, or who very consciously try to sound like super weird and funny. And that's the deal with Uramichi Oniisan is. It just seems to me like pop music that's like really, really heavily produced.
Yep.
That's how I feel about the voice acting in this series.
In this series, all right.
Yeah, well,
That's
in plenty of series, hundreds, but
Yep.
since we're talking about this one specifically, this one too.
That's a bit sad.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, like Aquatope, for example, the girl who voices the main character may be a very experienced seiyuu, but her performance is not like everyone. Look at me, look at me. I'm doing a crazy voice.
Yeah, it's pay a lot attention to themselves. It try to stand out a bit too desperately.
Yeah, I think that's a good word for it.
Yep. Yeah. Are you planning to keep watching this Uramichi Oniisan?
No.
Since that you can relate to it very well.
The only shows I'm actually planning on going forward with are
Sunny,
Sonny
Sunny
Boy.
Boy.
I mean, honestly, it would just be like Sonny Boy and Remain.
Aquatope? Nope.
Kobayashi-san's Dragon Maid. I'm not even that excited to keep watching, just because I didn't feel like the first episode was great.
Yep. How about Aquatope?
No, if I never saw another episode of Aquatope, I wouldn't be sad about it. I mean, I think the first episode was decent.
Yep. All right.
But Uramichi Oniisan, definitely not. I can say with certainty, I will not watch that again.
Right. Yep. I put it 10 as well. So that leaves us to the last show, the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Vanitas no Carte, the case study of Vanitas.
Right. It's Bones.
It's Bones. Yes. So it looked great.
Does it?
Does it? Yeah. That's my question as well. It does look good most of the time. I think the fight scenes are good. I have problem with the story though. It's just like one of the familiar story where like we have seen this before. I even like I think like some of the show that I watched before, like Bungo Stray Dogs for example, are better than this first episodes.
Damn, saying that Bungo Stray Dogs is better than your anime is that hurts. I mean, this might even be the same studio that did Bungo Stray Dogs, because Bones has multiple studios. They don't have just one building. They have like multiple teams that work on different stuff. So it's possible that the Bungo Stray Dogs team worked on Vanitas no Carte. Though, of course, they have a director who's coming from Shaft. So it's a bit of a mixed effort.
Yep. Oh, right. Actually, like, Bungo Stray Dog is made by Bones.
Yeah, but it might not be this team at Bones.
Wow. All right.
Bones is a pretty major studio in terms of the number of people they employ.
When I did compare this to Bungo Stray Dog, I didn't even like make the connection that they are from the same studio.
Yep. I mean, this feels very much like a Bones thing. It has the fight scenes. It also has the characters breaking out into like little chibi, super deformed, goofy faces and stuff.
Yep.
And that's just an anime thing that I have accepted over time.
Yeah,
so not too bad here.
Yeah, I do feel that the production elevated the story, because the story are really familiar at the moment. I might try this one like few more episodes to see like if it goes anywhere interesting. But so far, like you got a likable enough main characters, likable but also forgettable main characters, two of them, and like the story so far is nothing that I really like much interested to find out, but still
yeah,
I will give it some more episodes.
I saw some comments online talking about, from people who had seen it and who were impressed by it. They were talking about how it was such a refreshing setup, like the fact that the book restores vampires' true names was like blew their mind apparently.
Oh, Jesus!
Even though this is ripped straight from Natsume's Book of Friends. Natsume's Book of Friends, where you got to restore the yokai's name.
Yep.
Like what are you saying? How can this? And I'm sure that Natsume's Book of Friends gets it from actual Japanese folklore, So this is nothing at all special. This show is not special. I'll just express it that bluntly.
I don't know, man. I'm not really a fan of like vampire fiction in anime.
Yeah,
I just feel like
isn't Monogatari series like one of your favorite anime ever?
oops. Like
It's
at one point, some of the vampire fiction start to blur together and become like very same. They have like the same concept. They feature some of the same characters. So Monogatari is like the exception of that.
aha.
But like it kind of the same, and this is one of these,
Yeah.
which a bit better production.
Yeah, I don't I wasn't really hot on this.
Yep.
A lot of standing and
Hot.
talking in the last few minutes. Like in the church, they both fall into the church and then they stand and talk for a little. One convincing the other to like follow
Yeah.
him and be his disciple or his teammate, his shield, as he puts it. That wasn't the best note to end on. The premiere was very small scale in terms of its cast. There were basically just two characters, and both the victim and the perpetrator were the same. Like the other female character, Amelia was her name. She was both like an antagonist and also the damsel in distress. So they played double duty with her role, just like to include as few people as possible, so that the camera wouldn't have to focus on anyone except the two beautiful vampires, or the vampire and the doctor. And I had multiple other complaints as well, but I think that's probably enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think the fact that I don't know why Boom picked that up. Is that like really within their wheelhouse?
I don't know. It's
know-
it's a shonen. It's based on a shonen manga, by the guy who did Pandora Hearts, who a lot of people love. Or I don't know if I should say guy. I think that the author of Pandora Hearts might be transgender, so I'm not sure
really?
what their preferred,
Wow.
what their pronouns are.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people love their work, and they're something of an icon. And I've seen a few episodes of Pandora Hearts, and I didn't get much out of it, and I didn't get much out of this episode either. It could be that the manga is the way to go,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Alrighty. So, what do you put it? 5?
Yeah.
I put it 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, alright, so that wraps up our 10 shows, and this is a really lackluster show where, like Whooper said, he only keep going with one.
It's
out
really
of
just Sonny Boy
everything
that
we
is
watch.
that is interesting to me. Yeah.
Yep. And Kobayashi-san?
Yeah, I'll keep watching Kobayashi-san. I feel kind of weird about the first episode, and I kind of feel
Yep.
weird about our discussion of it.
Yep.
But it's KyoAni's back. You gotta watch it. You gotta support, even if your support means nothing because you're pirating. You gotta be a part of it, man. The boys are back.
Yep. Alright. So, yeah, good. Remember to keep watching Sonny Boy, and maybe it's a good season for us to catch up all these, all the show from before.
Yeah, I think I'll work on my backlog a little bit, or I'll continue to get home from work every day, dead tired, crash, fall asleep, and not watch any anime until podcast day. We'll see.
We see. All right, see you in the next 2 weeks where we will do the double feature again or something else.
Yeah,
We will see.
we'll come up with something. See you then.
All right. See ya.